Good turnaround Tuesday, everybody.
Yeah, it is.
I'm Dale Pinkert. I'm joined by Michael Venezia. And Michael, great to talk to you. It's becoming a ritual every Tuesday. I wouldn't know what to do on Tuesday without our chance to talk about the markets. We talked a little bit before this broadcast, and you're talking about things like Tesla and that you remain bullish through year end. And you want to even talk about the example of Elon's tweet, considering putting it out there on Twitter, was asking John Q. Public whether or not he should sell 10% of his shares to avoid taxes next year if Biden's able to raise them. So go ahead, tell me what you think about it, and then I'll share my view.
Okay. Now, I didn't post for those that are regulars on TGH. I didn't post this morning for a reason. Obviously, I sit here and watch because I wanted to go to Monday, which is obviously yesterday, which is the most information that I put out in terms of quantity. Definitely not short of quality, or else I wouldn't post it to waste anybody else's time. All I have to do is look at it. I don't know whether it goes back like that. We'll get rid of that. So bottom line is, I wanted to talk about the tweet, where the market is, where the sentiment is, and why I take that position going forward. Now, granted, not to be redundant, this is where we've been going the past week or so, if you will. You know, everybody knows that the markets will go to the indices or as we speak across the board all-time highs, if not a hiccup below them. Okay, so we've gone through weekly. And by the way, let me digress that anybody that wants to, this is something with the gamma exposure and how it relates to dark pool and the S&P. This is something, it's basically up for interpretation. It's like an art piece. Some people see something differently, but
it looks like an NFT.
Well, you know what? That's what's in play right now. And that's why I posted. This wasn't on TGH a year ago, but this is what's relevant. You know what? I'm not happy about it either, but I adapted and it's working. And that's why it's here. So if anybody wants to,
what a key word.
What's that?
What a key word if you want to be in this business.
Yeah.
Adapt.
No, absolutely.
Adapt.
No, I'm adapting. Listen, I'm adapting in the right corner of my eye right now. I'm not just, I don't want to be distracted. With that being said, is to see how we interpret this. Very simply, on the top right, go back to all the videos throughout the week. And by the way, the videos, this is not patting anybody on the back, although I should pat the team on the back, not myself. The videos are getting better and better. And I'm actually going back, instead of writing down on the proverbial notebook, going back and watching the videos a couple of days to see what I said or reiterate what I said. And then looking back, it's almost like, you know, I'm going back and listening to myself. And
you know what, that's a great point, Mike. And, you know, I think that they are, they're tools that, you know, sometimes you don't get something the first time through. For people to, you know, use these videos, they're instructive too. There's teaching involved in our analysis where people could learn certain trading methodologies or styles or what market tells are. You know, there's a plethora of pearls on these videos, and really, you should go back and listen to them. I do. Listen, I think that's a great idea.
It is a great idea, and I'm going to tell you why. And I appreciate that. And it's not because of being wrong or right. It's like I said, I'm trying not to give too many cliches and go over the time limit here. But the bottom line is this, and I use the golf analogy. And I was a golfer, an avid golfer in my younger days, a good one at that. With that being said, there are times when I would play the best rounds of my life instead of there was a time I hit a hole in one. So instead of going to the bar and buying everybody drinks and getting obliterated and probably losing the very muscle memory that maybe have that very stroke there, I went out and I hit more golf balls. The bottom line is, my point is, we're here to, we're around it, for lack of a better term. I don't know if that's the correct verbiage. We're all around it. Sometimes we're wrong. I mean, a lot of, 35% of the times I'm wrong, but at least
that's still an excellent.
We're not giving you Bank of America with a 30% range with news that may or may not be relevant. And by the way, I'm not giving you the complete low floaters, and I will, by the way, it's posted every morning. Anybody's free to ask, but the bottom line is, you could either, there's the TGH, there's no middle ground to a degree. Either give one of us money to manage and we could talk about it. You can look at your portfolio on a daily basis at these point, or we're here for you to teach and for you to take money out of the market every day. And with the tools here, and I'm going to show you my universe in a second. Let me change the screen.
Why not both, Mike?
No, this
Why
is
not? Why not? Why? I've said this before. Why not be a trader and yet not control all of your equity? You're diversifying away from yourself to a good money manager.
Well, because
and they might have a different style too.
Well, and I appreciate that, but Tim is
yeah, Tim does that.
Well, we're in a whole different category. He's
a pro.
It's beyond. It's beyond that. It's beyond that. With that being said, I don't want to do that because then emotions getting involved. It's very hard to work with your wife and make practical decisions. And by the way, I don't want people to micromanage my trades, even if they're winning trades. I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm already moved on. Yeah. I'm here to help. We give enough information with what we're doing now for you to get enough out of that. You don't have to shadow trade me. I once had a golf pro in Boca Raton. The guy paid me $20,000 cash to sit next to me for 2 weeks for 10 trading days, and he still couldn't trade. You know what I mean? So I'm serious, by the way, dead serious. And you can't. It's very difficult to do. And if anybody that is here that is looking for a quick fix or taking hopefully they'll take something, because we really did get down to the point. It's a process. Like I said, LeBron James practiced. NFL athletes of 10 years practice 5 days a week for a 60-minute, whatever it is, 12 for a 60-minute game. So it's no different here. And they're at the highest level. And everybody should expect the same if they put into it. It's very... it's a nice feeling to turn on your light in your office in the morning and literally feel like you're its friend. And it's only a matter of how much, and it takes time, and it's not easy.
Okay, Mike. So why don't we get to Elon manipulating the markets and what he does on social media?
I thought. Okay, so everybody sees where the markets are. All right. Well, let's get back to all the charts here. Stop pontificating and get back to what's going on. Okay, this is the gamma exposure. Everybody knows what just correlate the lines, if you will. You don't have to know what the lines mean. The bottom line, this is the market. You get the picture. You should be getting.
I talked to a guy that market makers in the options market,
yes,
are getting hammered because they're buying all these short-term dated options that the market makers, they take the other side when people are buying calls, and they have to go out and get stock to cover it, to hedge, and that they're taking hits. That even Goldman took a $15 billion hit last week on some of the moves that happened, these huge gamma moves, and they may walk away or step back from market making. Have you heard anything like that?
I have. You know what? I have. There's the Goldman indicator right here. This is the goal. And by the way, this is credible as it comes. We pay good money at TradeView to get this information, as well as we should, because we make better money on it. But I digress again. A couple of weeks they flinched when everybody sold, when the market looked, the seasonality, as we say, started to take hand. Whenever it was I don't know if I'm showing my proper chart. Here's Goldman. Here's our indicator on TradeGATEHub that I use. This is the Goldman indicator. So a couple of weeks ago, whatever it was, a month ago, when when the market looked the seasonality, I flinched too, to a degree. I'm not going to lie. But I have no problem flipping right away again when I see, I give you all these type of, let me go to my Twitter feed here, all this type of option flow that I have. This is my, a feed that I pay for that gives me the option flow. So I correlate the option flow to how I see the market turning, as well as the indicators. And if I'm being talking too fast or being too specific, or for lack of a better term, this is something I do every day. So once again, just like the trading method, if you're really thinking signing on right now, thinking you're going to pick it up immediately, which is mean today, you're not. Just it's a day-by-day process. So bear with us. With that being said, with your question, Goldman flinched too. And I heard them getting out of the businesses, or at least hedging out of that business as well. It's difficult. Maybe they're not adapting correctly. I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of people saying, I know this would be, not in your bailiwick, but, kind of a symptom of monetary policy being let, that, went on and continues to go on. So, Tina, right? There is no alternative.
Okay.
So
Now,
don't you think? I mean,
no,
what's your alternative to what you're doing? Stock selection.
mine is, well, but thank God my wife has money at this point. So that's the alternative. That's my hedge, but I earn that. But with that being said is, I'm talking about the Tesla tweet. Now the market was, this is the fear and greed.
Yeah.
This is where the Nasdaq sentiment is. And by the way, it's a tool. It's only a tool. It's proven us wrong. And again, I'm not going to apologize for this cliche. The market or sentiment can stay stronger than people can stay solvent. I know it's boring, but in this time, and look, I'll go to a couple of charts. It's right there as we speak. I'm missing a TDD trade. Look at this thing. I'll point out TTD. My God. All right. TTD. Okay. So now now knowing where Tesla is, we had questions in the room Friday afternoon on where, if, when we would short Tesla. Does everyone remember that? Remember that, Coach?
Yep.
So now I thought, and I was, well, if you remember what happened on Friday, they did the dip and rip. It went down about $20 and it wound up going up and then just sitting there for a little bit and really did nothing. Yeah, probably true. You're right, Lewis. He's getting better. Thank God he's learning. So I'm answering Lewis's question. So I look at the tweet, I'm looking about how the market is. So I'm looking Friday evening, he tweets it, right, or whatever it was, Saturday morning. Now, if you're not interested on what the market or the futures and Nasdaq futures are doing and that's such major news of where the market is and where Tesla is, considering that the RSI is in the 80s, I think, or somewhat now. That's almost like if you're a professional gambler, it's like Tom Brady breaking his leg and being out of the Super Bowl. So when I'm looking at where those futures are at Sunday night, I'm looking at, it was supposed, I had word, it was correct, that Tesla was down between 6 and 8%. I think the lowest was down at about 8%, but I didn't see the rest of the market getting weak that week. And then I wake up at 3:34 in the, well, whatever, I wake up at 3:30 in the morning and I see Tesla down 8%. I see the other stocks in the sector. By the way, the Nasdaq futures weren't even down that much. I see the other stocks in the sector that go with it, NIO. I see this Lucid Motors. I'll even go to the chart here, LCID, which was up, which shows me normally in the old days, if where the market is, and if Tesla was doing this, pardon me, the typing days are few and far between. When Tesla is doing this, this was before right here. Yeah. And the other stocks like Fisker in the group are making nice moves. NIO's breaking out them. NIO's making good moves. Lucid Motors is making a big moves, and these other stocks are up. In the old days, it would be analogous to if IBM pre-announced. It would wipe out Procter and Gamble, to be dramatic, but it would take out the rest of the sector. Which showed me that the market had something left. Was the rest of the stocks were and by the way, they did have some volume, which always tells the story. And the rest of the stocks were up, which told me that it was either Tesla being specific. Showed me that it was Tesla specific, and the rest of the European markets across the board, if you will, didn't flinch. And let me go back. This was the Tesla day, and the rest of the stocks. Look at Nevada. The rest of the stocks that provided based broke out of a flag and went higher that day. AMD. Well, this is today. AMD. Oh my God! Look at AMD.
Yeah, they had a huge day yesterday.
AMD opened at 155, and it's a $10 move down. They're doing it today, Coach. Look at this. Look at Tesla. I didn't see what they're doing.
Yeah, they're reversing.
All right. That's okay. No problem. So Tesla opened at 1174, and it dropped 60. It's going. So I'll show it. Okay. So let's get back to. We'll forget the lesson. So I obviously got diverted in my attention. So what I'm going to tell you, I'm going to pretend that I'm not doing a video and I'm going to look at what I see if I would just say you just got back from taking a shower, which I wouldn't. So I'm saying, wow, look at that move. Look what's going here. So I'm saying, all right, let me look at the leaders. AFRM, net. I'm seeing what that is doing. I'm seeing what Lucid is doing because that's been the most speculative one. I'm looking what the battery play has done. LAC. This is a chart on LAC right here. So I want to see if this holds the base. I know that Nevada right now is the best of breed. Let me go back to my screen. So Nevada, if that goes negative, it breaks the 300 level. Netflix is still hanging in there. So some of the specs, like I said, TTD are hanging in there. ASAN is it. So it's right now, it's profit taking. It's not it's not the proverbial elevator down. Microsoft opened at 3387, whatever, 339, and it's 337. So for Tesla to fall $60 and for Microsoft to move down 50 cents is not the proverbial cause for concern at this point. You know what I mean?
Not for Microsoft.
Well, not for the rest of the market in general. The NAS is what.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
it stocks. Yeah, the weakness is
Micron's positive.
Sector specific with the EVs now.
Roku
right?
is doing well, right? Amazon's hanging in there. I don't know if that's the bellwether anymore, but TTD is a bellwether these days. Roblox, which reported earnings, could have collapsed, but when a stock opens at 104 and it's still up 30%, and it's still, that to me, I'm not shaken out yet. You know what I mean? Now I'm still looking right now. At the center of my screen are these EV stocks and the battery stocks, which are here. And by the way, Blink. I'll go to the chart yesterday on Blink if I can get it. I've been having charting problems. There's the chart of Blink. Now it's a problem because it broke the 200-day. But Blink yesterday went from 34 to 41. It's a $7 move. It's yet to be determined if that move is muted. It doesn't look good that this, by the way, this is not a best of breed and it's one of the high specs. It's not a good sign for the rest of the sector. So I'll go back and see what the rest of the better ones are doing. Let me see what, by the way, PayPal at earnings. PayPal right now has that little, if you're on Rhino Trader, has that little SC or whatever, non-shortable. For PayPal to trade 17 million shares as of in a half an hour of trading with earnings down 10%, pinned at the low, and I look at the long-term chart here, that right there, I don't know right now if that's a product. PayPal being on the low at 2 times volume being down that much is a product of the market yet. Then I'll go back
looks like a breakaway gap. Mike, I've been seeing a lot of gapping action and different issues you've been showing. How do you know the difference between a breakaway gap and an exhaustion gap? And, they give you different messages. So, when markets start gapping later on in an advance, you either have a breakaway gap or the final gap is exhaustion. And I think I've seen a few exhaustion gaps on some of the EV charts you were showing here.
Now Tesla's down 100.
Yeah, that's exhaustion.
So now I'll go now. Well, it isn't. By the way, that's I'm saying I'm edifying that question. Correct. Yeah. So now I'll go to my trusty Twitter feed. Boy, I sound old. Trusty. It's like my trusty Swiss Army knife. Now I'll show you that I have only. And by the way, I don't suggest any. I wouldn't go over 100 people follow. I'll go to my follows, which are few, and I mean they're quality, not quantity. I'll go to what's going on here. I'll go to like the Jesus feed, which is public. Well, he's not posting right now. That's public. Let me go to.
So you were telling me before the interview that you're sitting on the fewest positions you've had on for a week. So I mean,
thank God.
Wouldn't you be looking for this to, maybe 3%, 5% sell off to deploy the cash that you're sitting on now? Is that your game plan?
It is my game plan. This is a good guy, by the way, SPAC Guru. For those that trade these SPACs, has a lot of followers. He follows the sharp. These are 3 of the sharpest guys I know. Coach, I don't want to deflect your question. I know what you said, but he made a good point here. Here is what got smacked at the same time at the market. These are the stocks moved yesterday. LCAD that I pointed out, SoFi, DM. These are SPACs. IONQ. Look at IONQ is up $4 this morning. Let me go to IONQ. When I turned on IONQ, someone was bragging about it. And this was the range IONQ had today. IONQ went from 23, it went from 20. This thing drops, forget about it. Let a commercial, you know what I mean? So, okay, getting back to exhaustion gaps. And I see somebody just posted, OGF, thank you. I might learn something. It's ready. It has to do with volume. It has to do with sector. I base it upon sectors. I don't like to do it because a lot of people have noticed that I trade this way. I don't like to do it with indices because I don't. And if anybody has ever learned anything here, I can tell you all my Twitter feed here and all the sharp guys I follow, that have been selling so many winners because they've been thinking the indices and the sentiment we've been talking about on TradeGATEHub are extended when in actuality the stocks have been going more than the indices. So people have been following the indices, including myself, have not been playing those gaps very, very, very well.
Yeah, Mike, one of our attendees would like you to go back over the battery issues and a couple of symbols he wants to, that you would recommend he pay attention to.
This is what I would do when I would go to a battery symbol. I would go to a battery play and what's a major battery play? Let's go with QuantumScape's a battery play. So I would go to any Twitter feed and I would go to like something like QuantumScapes, and this is battery. So let's go. Who else is in the? Oh, let's go to even better one. Let's go to a simple Twitter feed that I like is bar chart. Very simple, free. Let's go.
I like bar chart.
Let's go to QS QuantumScape.
We still have your Twitter page up here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you know what? It changes when I change his pages.
Right.
I'll get down to bar chart. Is this it? Hope it's not something.
And thank you, OGFX Trader, for your posts.
Yeah,
nice looking chart. So, you guys could come in and interact with Mike and I every day. I mean, if we're not streaming, we'll get back to you on a post if you want a viewer, and we'll see what you put up there. So feel free to come to www.tradegatehub.com. It's free. And you're going to meet some people that are going to steer your eye towards things you're not looking at because you only have two eyes.
These are oh, by the way, laser. Let me tell you something here. These are the you go to bar chart. First of all, or you can ask me. And this is my screen right here. These are the battery plays, the major battery.
Yeah.
Let me change the screen appropriately, if you will. And I try to keep changing it. LAC is a battery play. That's the best of breed. QS a battery play. SLI is a Jim Cramer best of breed. So when I see LAC, you know that. Go to my Twitter feed, and you go LAC, and it will usually have the stock that go with them. Plug LAC. You have to do a little bit of research like that. But the best one, as I said, and not to be redundant, is go to here. Like LAC is the best of breed. Everybody should know that. And then just go by, I don't know why it's not showing another LAC. Let's go to
Mike, I want to perhaps get into my bailiwick, and I know you watch issues under this, but especially, I don't know, about a month ago when you were near the top for calling for a correction in natural gas stocks and natural gas. And we've kind of just consolidated and worked off that extreme overbought condition in the underlying commodity. I'm wondering if you're seeing opportunities, winter's around the corner, any opportunities on these pullbacks in natural gas issues?
Okay, let's go. By the way, for OFGs, I'll get back to you more on that. It's the best way I want to answer this question, get further. I heard with the natural gas. I do have an opinion. It's just go to something like LAC.
Yeah.
And go to competitors. I don't know why it didn't have a major okay. And LAC is, you go by market cap. It'll do it. You have to do this by market cap, or you go to 50, go to alpha if you want. And it'll show you OLN. ALB is the big daddy. That's the big daddy, ALB. HUN is good. CC. DuPont even has something to do with batteries. So as you get, and it's a good question because I like to trade stocks that move in groups, and the battery group, if you will, does move in groups. As a matter of fact, it came in long CHP this morning at 28. Right now, it's a lot lower. All right, thank you. Okay, so natural gas. Let's get to a chart on that, gas. And here, you know what? Let me get back to my natural gas universe as long as we're doing that. Let me show you my natural.
Have they gotten cheaper, Mike, over the last month?
Yeah, they have.
Okay.
Hold on. Share. Let me go to new share.
So when they're not making headlines right now is when you consider them. Everyone.
Oh, you like to buy low. You want to buy low volume. Look, Tesla still 100.
Yeah.
You want to buy low volume. Be a lot. You want to buy low volume pullbacks. So let's look. Okay, here's my UNG here. Actually, I don't have. I should have a chart in the same. My chart should be here. Unfortunately, it doesn't save that correctly. So here are my chart of my big daddy oils, for lack of a better term. And then I go to my watch list, which usually I'm working on it as well, which usually has the ancillary ones, like this one will be here, SM will be here, and a small one like XCC will be. Well, XCC is not doing them. Chesapeake. So I have my major ones underneath, and I have my top ones here. So let's look at what I consider one of the best natural gas ones. I like CLR. I consider a natural gas. Let's look at natural gas here. And yes, I do. Matter of fact, I nibble it here. It's
Thought I'd
clear
call
right here.
out a few ideas for you, Mike.
Yeah, I like CLR right here. I would buy CLR. Let's go to so when I see this, I go to the weekly. I like it. I like it came down on low volume. I like how it act. I like that it's, this is the 50-day. You don't definitely want it to test the 200-day, but let me go to the other ones and see how they're. RRC is arguably the second best of breed. You know what? That's compared. So RRC
Looks like
year
a head
high
and
was,
shoulders.
it was 26. This is 23. Now
Yeah.
let's go back to the chart of natural gas. Natural gas has pulled back way more than
Yeah.
the entity.
Yeah.
So that's, RRC I like SM. I think I haven't looked at SM in a week, so I apologize if I don't. SM, how could you not like that? I wish the RSI had come down a little bit more. It has come down on some low volume. And I like Goldman's favorite. One of Goldman's favorite, by the way, not to put them, is SU. I haven't looked at the chart, so I apologize. But that is usually hanging. If how could you not like that?
Yeah.
One of the best compliments I say is I wouldn't short it.
Yeah.
What's a weekly on that? Well, it's got to get through this is why it's stalled through the weekly 200-day.
Right.
It's got to get through 27. Once it does that and it bases through 27,
40.
and the last thing I do is I look at the monthly, and then I'll go to Fibonacci things, blah, blah, blah. But then if it gets through the 27, like I said, then I'll look. So when it goes from 27 to 33, considering that I'm bullish on natural gas, and it's almost a safe trade, for lack of a better term, I like it. So yeah, that's a couple of my like.
Okay, I'd like to ask this. You reminded me when you said it's a compliment when you say, well, I wouldn't short it. And the last time I asked you about precious metals, that was your take. I wouldn't short them. Has there been enough confirmation to consider long positions in the miners,
You know
whether
what?
they be gold or silver?
I had a feeling. Look at Mara reverse. Mara reverse $12. Mara went from 80. They sold the bit. They sold can I sold this morning for TradeView. This morning at 11:19. I wish I had.
Lights out.
I'll show you. Hold on a second. Without revealing any. Well, you know what? Trust me. I don't want to reveal any info. Yeah, I sold it.
Are you playing the piano?
No, that's the that is the one. That's like that's when I opened our MT5. That's
All right.
yeah. That's like
I knew that. Okay.
Getting back to the
Metals?
I knew you were going to ask that about the metals. So,
Well, call me a metalhead.
ooh, that's all right, no problem. Once don't do any Megadeth or karaoke though. Let me show you what I showed with Helene. I saw Helene's tweet go by the corner of my eye, and once I pull it up, I'll show you what I feel about the metals. And she pulled up a great chart about the GLD this morning.
Okay.
And here it is. Hold on, let me share a screen on the. I'm trying to. I've lit so many screens. Here's the GLD.
We'll have to get her back here, huh? Yeah, we're
GLD.
right there. Yeah.
So I'm looking. I'm saying, all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not willing to take the chance of breaking through here. I know the market looks a little frothy, but I'd be hypocritical if I said I wasn't bullish, and I am. Yeah. So I would definitely not look at a place to enter anything there.
You see that low about 4 days ago? That was the Fed. That was a taper down there at 1640.
Yeah.
What a move in 4 or 5 days.
Well, let's go to this. Let's go to the rest of the stocks. Let's look at here's what my screen is here. Let's look. There's the GLD. Well, let's look at NEM. Let's look
at juniors.
Let's look at Newmont. I'll go to a Newmont.
Newmont's has the weakest structure.
It has. And I don't know if that's an antiquated saying. It's the best of breed. I think it's KO.
Yeah, I know. I've been surprised.
AU, the rest of them, I don't think they have an interest. Those triple ETFs. Remember we talked about the triple ETF? I didn't.
SILJ.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, Coach, and this is what I learned from my mentors. I would rather buy Nougat, or I'd rather Well, that's a triple ETF. That's a bad call. That's a bad analogy. Let's go to back to Newmar, just because the familiar.
You'd rather pay up and know than take a shot
You
here.
know what? For a lot of things, I wouldn't. For that, I would.
Okay.
That doesn't make it right, but that's the way I trade.
Well, you need closes over 60. What's that?
I
The
do.
200 day?
Yes, on Newmont.
Yeah, that green moving
Yeah,
average,
yes, it is
200
60
day.
and change, 60 and change. And by the way, stock's only 55. It looks higher than it is.
Yeah.
Am I still in the chart? I don't even know. Let's go back to the chart. Then I go to the weekly, and then I go to. It's really not that difficult of a process. The chart is still not. It's not a barn burner, but as we look here, actually, it's not that bad. If it does get over the 60, it's a buy, right?
Yep. So, Mike, time's starting to run up here. So I anything you want to close the show with that you want to share with people that are listening? And I know that you every day share your process with people. Anything you want to say to our viewers as far as you're bullish into year end? Maybe we've seen the beginning of a correction in the EV stocks. I don't even know what the market's doing. Is the market under pressure with Tesla?
Well, the market's showing. I believe I'm showing my main screen, but
Yeah.
there was an announcement.
Oh yeah, it was a big break.
So
Big
this,
break today.
yeah, there was an announcement, and you know what? I'm going to show you something, and this is
Once we went on the air, what happened?
well, it's by the rumor. Let me show you my likes. It's by the rumor, sell the news. This is it, and I had here it is, and this told me yesterday. I hope everybody can see this, and it's why I actually traded it well, and people can. Serious bottom line is to show you our value added. This was 21 hours ago, so this was yesterday at the close. Basically, every single EV battery play is being swept up all over again. I know the main catalyst has been the infrastructure package, and this came out today. But after a run like this, careful some profit taking and to sell the news off tomorrow, which is today. Right. So I had said that the EV plays were sells coming into it. I sold CHP this morning at $28. I hope it's there. This morning, I think it was 29 this morning at 4 a.m. because I felt it this way and the market opened up. Now, I knew this coming in. And you know what? Quite honestly, even Jim Cramer's, okay, I hope that, if I'm going over, I'll talk to myself because this is going to make me money, so I don't care. And I mean it. Jim Cramer this morning said this. So I'm using Jim Cramer, who's Joe, if you're listening one day, Jim, no offense. I'm using, Joe Sixpack, who has his pulse on the finger on the market. It's still 4 a.m. And I'm looking at one of the sharpest guys out there with option plays. And he goes talking about the EVs. And I have to, please, it's worth it. I don't know why I'm begging anybody to listen to good information. Let's not forget yesterday that all these charging station EVs are not going to do well. Let some of them run and then take some off. So anybody that, and I don't apologize about my verbiage, I do. People that are paying it, that should be paying attention, should know that Blink is the worst of breed. That was a one-day wonder. Okay, some stocks aren't a one-day. BE is a good stock. I'm sure it pulled back, but for a stock like BE to go from 27 to 37, major move on a thick stock that does 8 million consent, to only pull back $1, positive sign. But a dog that's like QS, which is, forget about it. It's still above the 2. That might be that might be okay. But what's another dog that's an EV? I'll go to my EV loose. Well, there are a bunch of them, trust me. So my point being is that if you're in the room, you would know that's, hold on. Open bullish, Planeteer is bullish. I would say that that this is a time, if you didn't trade them, to watch them, because after a move, stocks move, after these EV plays move in a group, you can see which ones will die out and know which ones that you should be playing going forward. And the best stay strong and the others die out. So, I had yesterday, I hope you can see my screen if you will. I had 9 EV plays. Now I'm down to the ones that are hanging good. Blink is going to go off there. It's in the penalty box. CHPT, I still like. Piton, look at that. I'm going to buy. Anybody who wants an advance? You know what? Maybe I won't. These went up positive. By the way, I'm very bullish on Path. Tesla, I'm going on so PayPal, I'm looking at bounced off the 200-day, no, not the 200-day, off the psychological 200 number. That's important. Tesla held the 1,000. It bounced $50 off the low. That's important. Microsoft reversed, which may or may not be important, but the other ones are still hanging in there.
And my main takeaway was before the interview started, Mike, that you said you had the fewest long positions on in
There
quite
are my
some time.
position page.
So
This is my
yeah,
active management page. It's flat. And
yeah.
by the
So
way, take a picture because that's rare.
congratulations, man.
No,
Because
it's rare. By the
maybe
way, there's nothing underneath either. Trust me.
yeah. So you're sitting there, and now you can just get your shopping list together based upon your process
And you know
for the
what?
next move.
And you know what? I'm not a follower by any means, and I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be, but I am getting on my list. And sharp dudes, the sharp dudes that I follow, like no, IPO Dave, man. This IPO Dave easily makes 5 million a year. Get your buying list out 3 minutes ago. He's right. So I'm flat. We're going to have a little downside action. I'm not going to be hypocritical. I'm bullish. Where's the VIX?
Yeah.
The VIX is only at 21. Nobody's flinching. So let them come in a little bit. Fine. And by the way, if you're pissed, or for lack of a better term, about AFRM being down $4, you shouldn't be, because the stock in the past week has went from 130 to 180. It's not you should have been taking some off on the way up there. So I can't hold your hand on that one. So, and then what I'll do is I'll leave it, because if we're going over time, the last thing is I'll go to the our trade page, and when I come back for lunch, I will hold on. I'll look at my top list. Let me share, and it'll be very simple. I'll look at what's moving and what's not. Here's a range. What's near the high? What's near the low? What's got good range? Something's got a fat laser. Was up $9 this morning. It's got 1,000% move with a huge range. I'm interested. So that's all I have to do. I'm not complicating things. So make a long story short, we'll stop pontificating. Oh, we're not pontificating, but maybe I'm getting a little bit more animated than usual. So tune in a little bit later, and we'll have more winners for you. I hope everybody's doing well. Have a plan, and we'll go get them. That's all I'm going to say, Coach.
Hey, thanks for your time today, Mike. Good hunting, my trading warrior brother.
Trade well, everyone. Trade well.
All right, that's a wrap, everyone. Remember, you could join us every day, post your ideas, interact with us on TradeGATEHub.com. And most of all, don't just count your pips, your shares, your Krugerrands, your oil wells, count your blessings. Adios.